Hey everyone, welcome back to Creekside Homestead, Alaska. Today is a very cold day outside here where we are. It is about 9 below zero. I think it got to 12 below zero last night. So yeah, it's a very cold day, meaning I will be going outside as little as possible. So I thought today would be a great day to grab all of the tomatoes that were left from our garden this summer that I've had in the freezer, grab those and get those canned up into tomato sauce. I do a very basic sauce so that I can use it for a variety of recipes. So really all it is cooking down these tomatoes, straining them, cooking them down some more, and then canning them. Very, very easy for me, and even easier because I froze them. I don't have to peel them or do anything. I just throw them in the pot, cook them down, and keep doing that with each bag. Okay. This could not get any easier. I guess it would help to turn it on. And I will be washing these, drying them, and saving them. I try to reuse as much as I possibly can. Put that one aside. And we're just gonna let this start reducing down. Now, again, because some of them are still partially frozen, so it's going to take a little bit, but I just throw the whole thing in there, top, skins, seeds, everything, because I'm going to, like I said, strain them later. Now this does take a little bit of time, so this is why I'm choosing today to do this, just because of how cold it is outside, and I don't plan on doing much. Bag number 2. I don't know what I was thinking. I can already tell this is not going to be big enough. Okay, this hopefully is big enough. Oh, this is going to be a splashy mess. Okay, so I brought back that other pot because this one's almost full. So I'm just going to add the rest to this pot. Let them both condense down. And then we'll strain them and then hopefully get them in just one pot to continue cooking. This one's at a point to where I can strain it, so let's get to straining. I'm not dumping this in there because I don't feel like having tomato product all over my kitchen. So I'm just going to do this slowly, which is going to take a while because there's a lot in here. And this pulp I'm going to actually save and feed to the chickens. Okay, so it is the next day, and it just took a little longer for this to reduce down to the thickness that I wanted. And I think it's because some of those tomatoes were partially frozen. So the water content was a little higher, I think. So it took quite a few hours, got to be later in the day. So we just let it cool for the rest of the day and then stuck it in the fridge. So now it's reduced down. I got both of those pots that I had into one, and the consistency is right where I want it. It's a little, like I said yesterday, on the thinner side, but that's what I want because I can thicken it. I can use it however I want to this way. So I've got everything ready to go to get these canned. I've got my jars. I have quart jars in here, and I'm using my pressure canner to water bath. And that's because my water bath canner doesn't hold the quart jars. You have to fill it with water and go over about 2 inches, and it would just the water would go everywhere in my water bath canner with these quart jars. So I'm using this, and then I'll just place the lid and not put it on there fully. When I do it, I'll just crack it, and it won't come to pressure or anything like that. And we won't seal it up. It just, the lid goes on there, and we'll do that way. So I've got my tomato sauce, I've got my jars in here, my lid's warming up there, and then I've got everything else I need to make this go smooth. I've got vinegar in this little container here, and that's to wipe the lids around. I've got my funnel, and I've got lemon juice. Now, I go by the Ball Book recipe canning book, which I try to use for most of mine. Now, this is an older version. There's quite a few newer Ball versions, but I go by this one, and it says to add bottled lemon juice just to make sure your pH level is good for water bath canning. And this says use 2 tablespoons of lemon juice per quart jar and 1 teaspoon of salt per quart jar. The salt is optional. I'm adding the salt, and I use sea salt. Just gonna take this out very carefully, and I need 2 inches of water to go over this. So I'm just gonna dump this water back in, and I'm gonna work with 1 jar at a time. Add my lemon juice. And my salt. And then very carefully, because this is extremely hot, ladle that juice in there. And we did do a taste test, and it's very good. It just tastes like tomatoes, because I don't add any seasonings, nothing like that. I'm just gonna go until I'm pretty sure it's a 1/2 inch headspace. Yes, 1/2 inch. Which is, I think it's this first ring down on the lid, but I'm gonna measure it here in just a sec. All right, let's see what that is. Okay, that is good. Dip that in my vinegar. Make sure you wipe it around really good. Be careful, because it is hot, fingertip tight. And then you're gonna put it back in there. And that's all there is to it. I'm gonna dip this one out too. I think this is all we'll need. And then the rest of them I'll just empty in the sink. And I'm gonna do that for hopefully all 7 quart jars. That's my goal. Hopefully I did enough to can at least, oh, be careful, squeezing. I got lemon juice everywhere. All right, I'm just gonna keep doing this until I get all these full. I'm actually gonna taste this again, because it's been a little while and it's cooked down a little bit more. Hot. That is absolutely perfect for what I want it for. A super really good tomato flavor, which I think comes from using such a variety. I grow, I don't know, 8 different varieties of tomatoes, of canning tomatoes. And so I just think it gives it such a richer profile when you go to do your canning. All right, there's our last jar. Gonna get that in there. Now I have quite a bit, so I'm gonna be able to actually get 2 batches out of this, so that's really good. Okay, so that's got about 2 inches of water covering those jars. And I'm just gonna set this lid on here. I'm not gonna put it on there all the way because it's a pressure canner lid. I'm just gonna set it right on top of that. Crank this up to high, and this is going to water bath can for 40 minutes for the quart jars. If you're using pint jars, it's 35 minutes. So I'm gonna get this run through, and then I'm gonna do this run, and then we'll see you in a little bit to see how many jars we actually got. I did forget to mention that this has to come up to a rolling boil before you start your timer. And then I'll set my timer for 40 minutes. And then when it's done, you let it cool down in there, take the lid off, let it cool in there for 5 minutes, and then you can take them out and put them on a towel on your counter. So we are done with our tomatoes and got way more than I expected. So we ended up getting 19 jars total, 8 quarts, 11 pints. So that's pretty good for what we had left in the freezer. And remember, we had already canned a batch of salsa, and it also doesn't include our fresh eating. So I think we did really good on the tomatoes this year. I've got stuff to put away that'll get us through to next year, and I still have tomato sauce from last year. So I'm happy with it. I think it did good. It looks great, tastes great. So that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody.